Well, welcome to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Heather Frierson, and I'm your host of the Business Spotlight podcast. And today I have Patrick McCreery, co-owner of Talent Dynamics. And today we're going to be talking about his business, best practices, challenges, and really just share a sneak peek of what it's like to own and lead a business like Talent Dynamics. So if this is your first time to the channel, be sure to like and subscribe so that you can get a notification every time a new show drops, just like this one. Well, Patrick, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Awesome. Well, if you could, would you just give us a little bit of your background and who you are, and tell us a little bit about Talent Dynamics?
Sure, no problem. I'm a recovering journalist, is what I like to say. I've worked in broadcasting for the better part of 30 years. Earlier in my career, I ran a broadcast company called Meredith Local Media. It was a mid-sized broadcaster, and the company sold. The family and the company decided to sell back in 21. And at that point, I was trying to figure out how in the world am I going to keep working in broadcasting? And it really came down to 3 or 4 key criteria. One, I had already worked for a publicly traded company and survived, so I wasn't going to do that again. 2, I wanted to work with people that I really like, trust, and enjoy being around. It had to be in the broadcast space, number 3. And number 4, I wanted to build something for myself instead of shareholders. So all of that comes along Talent Dynamics. So about 6 months into my retirement, Talent Dynamics is a firm that's been around for the better part of 35 years and serves almost exclusively the broadcast industry. It's think of it like a manpower service or a headhunter placement service, but it's a little bit of a different model. So we own and operate the world's largest database of broadcast talent.
Oh, wow.
Think anchors, reporters, producers, sales managers, news directors, and broadcasters hire us on retainer to search for their openings. And so what we do is we keep detailed information about contract status, willingness to move to Memphis, right? Somebody's husband's in the military service, so they may not be willing to relocate to certain parts of the country. And so what we do is we make, for lack of a better term, these candidates with these open positions for the broadcasters. Wow. And so about 2.5 years ago, my partner and I bought the company and have been really working on expanding its role in the industry. So we've added sales management, we've added producers to the database, and now we've also purchased an industry website for information sharing and knowledge base. And we're looking, to make more acquisitions in that space.
That to me sounds like one of the funnest jobs I've heard about in a really long time. I mean, you can say recruiting and, the different words came to my mind, but to be able to be a matchmaker for so much talent that I'm sure you know of with their dream job and vice versa has got to be so rewarding.
It really is. And we all joke in this business that it's so small. It's not 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. It's barely 2 degrees in this business. So I can guarantee, if you told me somebody's name and the station they work at, I can make 2 phone calls and find somebody who knows them. It's amazing.
Really?
Yeah, it's a really small business, right? There's only 800 TV stations in America. So
800, is that what you just said?
Yeah, that's it. That's on average. There's average of 4 per market, and there's 200 markets in America. So there's 800 TV stations. So
wow, that's incredible to think it's that small. I'm sure you've seen and heard so much through television. What is one of your favorite stories? As someone who loves to follow entertainment, we'll keep it clean. We'll keep it, not spicy. But what's one of your favorite stories?
Gosh, it's such a great question. It could be a red carpet interview with celebrities, or something like that. But I have to tell you, my personal reason for doing this and sort of the calling that it is, I think, for most journalists, is the feeling that you get when you help someone. And that comes in many forms, but most notably, and I think the California wildfires are a very topical example of this, communities come together when disasters strike, and local television stations are oftentimes the aggregator for those stories and for the repository of support. And so when when you do a big water drive and you can fill 3 semis full of water and take those to the people in need, that convergence of information, storytelling, and helping a community really defines local broadcasting. And that honestly is why I love what we do.
Wow. Do you still get to go out into the field yourself, or have you ever?
Oh, you're killing me. No, I don't. Yes, I mean, early in my days, I was a reporter and I wasn't terribly good at it. So they made me a manager, to go figure. And so, going in the field is really exciting. And that's when you chase the story and catch the bad guy or help the good guy, because all of these are the same concept. Whether you're writing a novel, writing a newspaper story, or telling a TV story, there's a central arc, there's a theme, there's a character, there's a drama, and you put all that together. And if you can do it so that you're telling the truth, right? At the end of the day, journalism, that's our stock in trade, is truth. That's it. So when all that comes together, you feel really good about it. And no, I don't get to do that, but I do have lots of friends that I live vicariously through.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I love that so much. I mean, I feel like there's so many questions we could go down that road, because I love that stuff, but also we need to know more about talent dynamics.
Sure.
And how you shared a little bit about how the process, for you, the journey of going from, what was it, Meredith?
Local media
to here. What were some of the challenges and really getting over the hump of, okay, I'm going to do my own thing now?
Yeah. Daunting is the first word that comes to mind. The minute we took it over, you're like, all of a sudden you're like, oh, payroll's due. Okay. How's that going to work? And, health insurance for 12 employees and, 401ks and benefits and opening up a whole new world of things that, when I had 1,700 employees working for a corporation, there was an entire department dedicated to handling each one of those individual issues. And now it's just 1 or 2 of us handling it. So that was a real steep learning curve. From operating the business, though, it was super interesting, because what we learned very quickly is it's very separate functions. So one function is we have to be recruiting nonstop to fill our funnel of talent. The talent don't pay us because we're not talent agents. There are talent agents out there who represent talent individually and get paid a percentage, when they place them. That's not our model. So we have to be recruiting nonstop, with starting at universities and then working into the early years of your career. Because in this business, a lot of times, if you want to move up as a reporter, you start in Paducah, then you move to Poughkeepsie, then you might move to Pittsburgh, right? And that's how that works. And so we help them move up that ladder. So there's the filling the funnel. Then there's the business development side, which is staying in touch with all of these broadcast corporations and TV stations and ownership groups, trying to sell our services, getting them to hire us to help fill their holes. And then the other piece of our business is talent coaching. So what we like to say is, we'll help you find a great candidate, and then we'll help them fit into your organization through training. And so, it goes hand in glove. But, when you're in a non-political cycle, broadcasters are notoriously cheap and don't like to spend money. So I have to wring a few arms here and there.
Yeah. I love that so much. And I thank you for the clarification for not being agents, because that can get confusing for people listening and for even me. So you'll connect them, you help the talent train, hire from the stations. And so once you really got your talent, if you will, maybe a handful of talent that you knew that this business was going to take off, what were some of the strategies you put in place to hire team members or to even grow and scale your business?
So, a clear key for us is we hire industry insiders who have a knowledge of the business. We need, the young woman who runs our placement service comes out of a newsroom and a newsroom management track, and then spent some time at a university as well. So she's well versed in every aspect or every position within a newsroom and what the criteria would be for a hiring agent or a hiring manager for those opening positions. So what we really do is, it's free for anyone to go in and register with our database if you work in the broadcast space. You could have a profile, and then that profile is available to us as we're doing job searches, right? And so I think it's important to have people who can be the matchmaker. That was really important for us, is to really people who can identify talent and identify opening and put them together.
Yeah. So where do you see yourself maybe, or even talent acquisition dynamics, not acquisition?
Yeah.
My thoughts were to acquisitions. That's where I was going. So I got my words twisted.
Yeah.
But where do you see it going in the future? Do you see it maybe being acquired, or how does that look?
So, it spent its first 29 years with one owner, and now it's got us, right? So I don't see acquisition in the short term, us being acquired. I see us making acquisitions in the short term, because I think one of the things that's really interesting about working in this space is that it's a mature business, and not unlike newspapers. As you mature, consolidation begins to happen, and our industry has already gone through one or two rounds of major consolidation, and quite frankly, with regulatory regime change, with the new administration coming in, we all believe that those reins will be loosened and there will be another round of consolidation. Well, what happens for us is that means the number of clients becomes fewer. It doesn't change the number of job openings, right? It doesn't change the number of candidates out there for jobs. What it does, though, is it requires us to be nimble. And so we think one of our best defenses is to build a moat around our business and take out all of our competitors. And so we'll be looking to make acquisitions in the next, I'd say, 18 months to 36 months. And those will be opportunistic acquisitions that basically are defensible for us.
Wow. We have a lot of our listeners that are in the same season of business, if you will, that are looking to make acquisitions, or, looking to get acquired.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the things you're putting in place now to make that happen? And you gave a little bit of what the economics of the world are, but what about you as a business?
Well, we're constantly reviewing opportunities, as we like to call them, inside the business. So anytime there's a personnel change, for example, it allows you to reimagine, or at least evaluate, is your current structure right for your business? Are you the right size? Are your resources, which, let's face it, as a small business operator, resources are everything, are they deployed in the right manner? And so I think every time we have a change of some sort, sorry about my dogs barking, I apologize.
That's real life. That's what happens.
Expected delivery. Maybe it's good news. Who knows? So I think that's how we approach it, is we really like to evaluate what we're doing on an ongoing basis to make sure that we're deploying our resources properly. I think as we look forward, call it 10 years for us. My business partner and I are the same age, and he's got young kids. And so we're in this for a while to go here. Acquisition would be ideal, because so many small businesses fail. They succeed in business, but then they fail to make the exit. And I think I love hearing stories about small business and entrepreneurs that are able to take advantage of that exit, and it should always be celebrated, right? And I think a few of the things that we're doing to put ourselves on a path to be able to do that is diversification. We don't want to be so niche that, there's only one buyer out there, because that doesn't maximize our value, does it? You got to have some competition in there. So I think diversification for us through these acquisitions will be key to that future.
I love that. What does that do for you personally? For what kind of legacy you want to leave and stuff?
Well,
a loaded question.
I don't know that I'll have a legacy with regard to this, and that's okay. That part doesn't bother me. My legacy will come from the benefit of being able to exit and provide for generations for my family, right? From my children, their children, and beyond. That's the legacy that I hope that this fuels. I don't know that any of my kids will go into this business. I'll try real hard to talk them out of it, because they're all going to have their own calling, and they all have their own talents. But should one of them want to, I think it'd be a great opportunity, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds
But
like
I'm not banking on that.
Do you see anyone in your family that's leaning that direction? One or two, maybe?
No, I mean, I don't think so. My son, maybe. My middle son, maybe.
Passions can change, they always change. You go to college for one thing and come out doing another.
That's
But
right.
yeah, what kind of impact do you feel like, or have you heard from others that you represent of how, talent dynamics has affected their own business
Well,
or,
I can answer that question two ways. First, I was on the list at Talent Dynamics before I ever owned it, right?
wow.
And so they helped me get
That's
producing
huge.
jobs. And beyond that, when I was running a broadcast group, Talent Dynamics was a vendor of mine. They helped me fill jobs. So, I mean, there's a life cycle here for sure that gets to be full circle now that I'm in this position.
Yeah.
But beyond that, we help, we have great testimonials from clients. We shorten the search window and the average fill window from 90 days to 30. When they use us versus their own methodologies, we can cut it by 2/3.
Wow. That's incredible. I'm sure there's some people listening right now. They're like, oh, I need to reach out to you.
I hope so. And if they can connect with me on LinkedIn.
There we go. All right. I feel like I could ask so many questions because you've got, I think, one of the best jobs. So before we get to our fun, rapid questions, what are some things you want our listeners to know about your company that we haven't covered yet?
Gosh, that's a good question. I mean, well, as we look to diversify, it is our hope that we can take what we do on the coaching side from, we coach anchors and reporters. And as we tell them, credibility is absolutely the essential key to good, positive, constructive communication. And so it's our hope that we're going to be able to diversify those coaching apparatus that we have in place and apply those to other verticals. Yeah.
What would that look like?
Honestly, I'll give you two examples. Real estate is a great example of a medium where video is on a growth trajectory. And I see a lot of realtors who are really uncomfortable on camera. And they have a lot of communication tics, is what we call them. And we can help with that, right? Because if you're going to sell a message, we can help you sell that. Because as I've told many a journalist, they're all in sales. They just don't realize it, right? They just don't realize that they're selling that lead line to hook that viewer in. Yeah. And then another vertical, financial planning. Most financial planners today are operating in a world of Zoom, just like the apparatus that you and I are using. And when it comes to your money, you want to trust the person that you're dealing with. And I think that credibility on camera is important in that space.
That's incredible that you're really thinking bigger than just media, because the world is a media stage now.
Right. Yeah.
It
is.
Everybody has to use it, and we're on it. So tell me a little bit about that rollout, because now I'm really interested in another direction now.
So that rollout is something that we're beginning in earnest this year. Since we've owned the business for 2.5 years, we rebuilt most of the technology supporting our platform, and we've rolled out new material and new collateral, and now it's time to push that forward. And I think that'll take a couple of different spider web veins, iterations, however you want to say it. But we're pushing into that space. We have a few individual clients in those verticals, which is why they're relevant to us. And now what I'd like to be able to do is grow our penetration in that space. Right. And I'm not looking to take over the world. I just want to, help the right people.
That's amazing. I love it so much. I think we all could use that training for sure, since we're all on Zoom all day long, all the time. So that would be helpful. I would sign up for sure. All right, let's get to some fun rapid fire questions. You game?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. What do you say is the key to success for you?
Balance.
Is there such a thing?
No. But that's why it's the key, right? It's ever elusive, and I'm always striving for it. So I feel like that keeps me moving forward.
It is ever elusive. I know. Okay. What is your one piece of advice you would give to other business owners?
Try it. Don't wait. Try it today.
Mm,
If you fail, that's okay. The real shame is not trying.
wow. Try it. Don't wait. I love that so much. All right. You probably have a lot considering the business that you're in right now for this next question, but book or podcast, what are you reading or listening to right now?
Ooh, I do have a lot. I'm writing a book right now. Actually, is where I'm
Oh,
spending a lot of my time.
what are you writing? Tell us a little bit, can you? Let's be the first to
I
know.
am writing two children's books, actually.
Oh,
One
that's
is
amazing.
one will publish in the spring and the other in the fall.
And is this your first published publication?
It is. It is.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, congratulations. That's amazing. I
But
love
the
what you're
funny,
doing.
it's a story that has been on my laptop for 15 years.
Mm,
My oldest daughter
what
is
took so long?
17.
Oh,
Life,
yeah.
the ever elusive balance. That's what took so long.
Yeah. You sound like you're a very creative person, from talent to writing, everything creative. You got the library with the ladder. You just got it all.
I try to be, right? It does fulfill me. That's for sure.
That's awesome. All right. This is one of my favorite questions. If you had a little bit of magic dust and could sprinkle it anywhere in your business, where would you sprinkle it?
Ooh. Gosh, that's a terrific question. I would sprinkle it on the revenue side and make more.
We all would. Yes.
Right?
Revenue side and make more. That's so good. All right. Before we get to the final question of the day, share with the audience how they can find you, hire you, all the things.
Yeah, the best way is to connect with me on LinkedIn through either our Talent Dynamics page or me personally, Patrick McCreery. And we'd be happy to connect and have a conversation about how we can help.
All right. The final question of the day. What is most inspiring you today?
My kids' potential. Every day I see them and I get excited for them and I see what impact I can be on that and what impact my wife can be on that. My kids' future and potential really inspires me a lot.
That's amazing. I have young kids too, and so I totally get that. I love
Yeah.
that so much. Well, this was a great conversation. I could dive into so much more with you. It was such an honor to meet you. And I just want to encourage everyone watching to save this show and come back and watch it, because it was really a fun one. And I really feel like Patrick gave some really great business nuggets, some that we all need to take with us, especially if you're in the media space. You need to go follow him and connect with him for sure. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss a notification every time a new show drops, just like this one. Well, thanks to everyone for joining us today, but a special thank you to you, Patrick. It was such a pleasure and an honor to meet with you and hear your story.
It was great and a lot of fun. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you. Well, have a good day. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.